Okay, welcome everybody. We are now live. This is the closing ceremony for FraxBuild, which is a Frax-focused hackathon on DoraHacks. FraxBuild, the duration of FraxBuild was 50 days, and it actually a little bit more than 50 days. We extended it through kind of the European conference swing a few months ago, and it stretched from end of May all the way to August 2nd. So this was a very exciting hackathon on DoraHacks. We were very, very excited to be able to host it in conjunction with Flywheel and the Frax team. And we're very sad to see it ended because we had a lot of fun hosting it, but we are very happy with the results. We know that the developers who participated worked very hard on their projects. So we are pleased and excited to finally be hosting the closing ceremony now that the winners have been selected. And of course, getting some live demos for our audience today too. With that said, I would love to, of course, thank the audience for attending this closing ceremony and showing your support to the developers who made this event possible. And of course, I'd like to thank Dave from Flywheel for really helping push this event and really kind of cherishing it and making it go as smoothly as possible. And the entire Frax team as well, including Travis, who was a judge, who's actually on joining this closing ceremony with us as well. So I obviously have a few more things I'd love to say before we jump into the demos, but I think I've talked enough now, and I'd love to turn it over to Dave from Flywheel. He's spent a lot of time and effort on this hackathon. Thank you so much for supporting it. And the floor is now yours to welcome everyone and say whatever it is you want to get off your chest.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for that intro, Brian. Thank you to the entire DoraHacks team for really being the platform for this to happen. I remember back at Eats Denver when we had the Something Stable happy hour, and Sam McCullough introduced me to you. He was like, hey, you should talk to this person. And then from there, I was like, oh, a hackathon. And like we've had this idea of, getting builders involved in the Frax ecosystem for a while, but we just didn't know how. And we've seen, hackathons are such an essential part of the space and getting people excited, getting new ideas to the table. So many, revolutionary projects have come from hackathons. So when I first talked to you, I was like, okay, let's try to do something here. And that was like way back in February, and like lots of lessons learned. It's just been such a process, built like figuring out like, okay, like, what is the team looking for? Like, what is needed in the ecosystem? A lot of learning along the way, a lot of lessons, but also a lot of fun to be had. A lot of these projects, I think probably one of my favorite parts of this hackathon was just like all the new people I met, and also like all the old friends I had to like bring them into the Frax ecosystem. Some really creative projects. I'm not gonna lie, like really impressed with like what has been built, because it's like one thing to be like, hey, like let's build on the Frax ecosystem, but it's like what can be built. And so like really a combination, like really useful tools and also just like fun projects to be had. And so I do really want to thank you again and the whole DoraHacks team for putting this together. I'd like to thank the Frax core team, the community, for approving of this. I know it was a risk and this was the first one. So thank you guys from the community, from the bottom of my heart. And I'd like to thank all the participants, because without you, none of this would have been possible. We had a myriad of entries, and I'd like to thank all our judges for coming through. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Sammy, for coming on board. Sammy was like really interesting because, we had like judges come like on, off, just because of like, everything that's happened the past few weeks. And like Sammy came into our the group saying like, hey, like where can I find the hackathon entries? I'm like, oh, I have an idea. And so like Sammy came in to judge as well. So that was like pretty cool to bring him in. And I'd like to thank Flywheel team for like helping me bring this together. Thank Chris for making all the graphics and everything. And really excited to see these demos, and really excited to see what future things we can build in the Frax ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for being a part of it. To those that don't know, the FraxBuild 2023 hackathon had up to $50,000 worth of prize pool up for grabs for the top developers. So it was a very exciting opportunity for them. I think this is very cool hackathon for another reason as well. Frax is one of the most important decentralized stable coins, if not the most important decentralized stable coin in Web3. They're growing market share on Ethereum and now multi-chain as well, like very, very quickly. The core team is very innovative. There's multiple products involved with Frax now. It's not just a stable coin. There's also Frax Swap, Frax Lend.
Yeah, and one of my favorite parts of the hackathon was at the beginning when I was like, "Hey Sam, do you want to do a workshop?" And he's like, "Sure." And he just presented all of Frax ETH V2. And then there's a whole myriad of conversation on Twitter and even articles. So just like a simple, it's like, "Oh, I'm doing this I'm doing this workshop. Might as well just present the whole plan for Frax, do the whole announcement." So it was cool to have DoraHacks to be the place for that announcement to happen.
Yeah, no, it's the least we can do, and we're just excited to support your ecosystem. We're very impressed with the amount of submissions and the builders as well. An important thing I'd love to know is like this was a very, very competitive hackathon. So just Dave will announce the winners in just a few minutes here. But in case you weren't selected as a winner, that doesn't mean your submission wasn't very, very competitive and compelling. This was just a very competitive hackathon. And if any builders would like to reach out to receive additional resources, feedback, see how we can help you bring your project to production, we're very, very happy to do so. It's the least we can do. We would love to support all of the builders who participated in this hackathon.
Yep, and I second that. It was definitely a tough one to choose. I think all our judges brought a different perspective to the table. And without further ado, I'd like to announce the winners. So, okay, drum roll. So for the product expansion, where like 35,000 dollars worth of FXS was up for grabs. In first place, we have Fraximal. Fraximal, congratulations. They're a Fraxland optimizer. There we go. That when we launched and was built during the Frax Hackathon, they have nearly $3 million in TVL. And Steven, I'm just thinking back to, we interviewed you guys for Flywheel. And you're like, every time we launch a product, there's always been some hack or exploit. And it's like, oh, and it was right before the Yep. And all that. But we can get into that later. And it's just you guys responded to that really nicely and everything was safe. So congrats for first place. Second place, we have Revest. Revest, congratulations. Yeah, there we go. Revest allows users to deposit their FX and FPIS into vaults and have a record of their deposit to claim yield at a later date. Congrats, guys. Third place, we have Zaros. Zaros is building a really cool product at the intersection of LSDs and perpetual markets. I'll let, when they take the floor, I'll let Pedro take it, but they're really changing the perpetuals DEX game while also allowing LST holders to earn even more in their yield. And we have an honorable mention. We didn't have that previously, but because there was a lack of data analytics entries, a lot of people on the judges thought that this would be fair. So congrats to ZK Frax. ZK Frax is an honorable mention. They're building a non-custodial solution that uses stealth addresses that allows people to send Frax ETH privately without revealing their address. So the prize money from the data analytics that wasn't for second and third will go to ZK Frax. Now on to consumer adoption. First place, we have the sticker protocol with one of many Mats, but he is the one and only one that made the sticker protocol, which is building a fully permissionless hyperstructure for digital stickers for redeeming Frax ETH. And this comes at an interesting time with seeing all the NPCs on TikTok with their stickers. I immediately thought of the sticker protocol here. Next up, we have in second place, we have Fraxsurance, which is building a decentralized insurance coverage that utilize Frax. The first product is protecting against inflation. And then third place, we have the Fraxland bot on Telegram, which I thought was really cool, especially with how Telegram-centric the Frax community and universe is, that allows users to keep track of their lending positions and so they don't get liquidated. So pretty cool. And for first place for data analytics, we have a very comprehensive dashboard for the Curve AMO. So congratulations to Pauly who made that. And yeah, that's it. Those are all the winners. This was really, it was difficult. Thank you everyone for participating. This was a lot of fun to judge. And definitely we're gonna have more Frax builds in the future. It's just especially with Frax Chain coming out, like we'll have to like go back to the community and see what they have to say, and bring Frax Build 2 in the near future.
Oh yeah, Frax Chain Hackathon. That'll be big.
Yeah.
And definitely, yeah, excited to see FraxBuild 2024 and maybe even FraxBuild 2023.5. We'll have to keep these going. It was
Yeah.
I feel like it was pretty exciting for your developer community, and hopefully it continues to to get better. I think you also kind of made a clairvoyant point. Actually, before I say that, congratulations, everyone. Dave, thank you for announcing all of the winners. You all worked very hard for this. I'm super excited. We actually have a special treat for the audience. Some of the winners are here with us live. They will be presenting their demos to you. So congratulations, everyone that received a prize. And I think that the other thing, Dave, that you mentioned that is super important is that like all the lessons learned along the way. Hackathons, it's like construction, right? It's a process, not a product. They're very iterative. And this is just the first one. So the Frax community has a lot to look forward to in the future. There'll be plenty more developer activations. And of course, at DoraHacks will always be willing to support you as well in any way that's helpful. So I guess without further ado, Dave, unless there is anything else we'd like to say prior, it makes sense to jump into some of the demos.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'll say one thing. For Fly, I just want to do a short plug. FraxBuild DeFi is launching a new website. It is launching imminently. Look forward. You may or may not see a beta of it tomorrow, a little alpha leak, but it will be fully launched next week. So if you're here, you want to learn more about Frax, it will be the ultimate Frax resource. We have everything Frax 101, from beginner guides to advanced walkthroughs. We even have tutorials on how to use Frax products. So if you want to learn about Frax, FraxBuildDeFi.com is your place to go.
Nice. Love it. Do it. Okay, awesome. All right. So without further ado, I think we'd love to welcome Steven from FraxMull team up to the stage to give their project demo.
Oh, can you also welcome Sun as well?
Sure. Sorry, Sun. Didn't know you were also joining us today. Welcome, Sun. Welcome,
He's the CEO of 7Cs, which is one of the two teams that worked on this.
Excellent. Yes, 7Cs, the strategist. Welcome. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
So can we share our screen? Is that possible?
Absolutely. Yeah, take it away.
Awesome. Sun, do you want to do the demo?
You can do it, Steven.
Okay, awesome. Let's see if I can share screen. So I think you guys can see the screen. Let's just go let's start from vaults. So the FraxMull vault is a vault on Sommelier that effectively lends into or deposits into the optimal Frax lend pool at any given time. However, there are some caveats. We recently saw that the optimal pool would have been Curve quite dramatically, but that gave a ton of additional risk to users. So it's not just that it optimizes your Frax lend yield, it's that it optimizes it in a risk-adjusted way. So it's relatively simple to deposit into. The off-chain computation is something that Sun can speak more towards, but the way in which it operates is pretty simple. There's a deposit button. You'll get a share that represents your portion of that of the vault, and then you can redeem at any time for that initial plus yield. So right now you can see that our 30-day moving average is 6.4%. And you might wonder, well, I know Curve just was upwards of 40% at some point, even higher than that. Why isn't it so high? Well, what the vault also does is risk adjust. So when we saw what was happening with Curve, the vault switched its weighting to go into the second and third most high yielding pools in order to remove exposure from lenders to that pool until we had a better idea of what was going on. So the vault is not only optimizing, it's also a smart vault that risk mitigates. And in this way, we intend to protect user funds rather than just optimize yield. So there are other iterations of this that are going live. Some other competitors, I think Yearn is creating one of these, but that's going to be purely done through on-chain smart contracts rather than off-chain computation. So let's just say you were utilizing purely on-chain smart contracts rather than off-chain computation. The on-chain computation might not have the ability to adjust in times like we saw, last couple of weeks with again the curve fiasco. So I think like the additional touch that we have there is really important for risk mitigation. And one other thing to consider is like the way in which I wish I had my other graphics, but the way in which it works is when there's a large deposit, the off-chain computation will simulate like thousands and thousands of different variations of ways to deposit into FraxLend, and then out of all those, choose the optimal one to run. And that'll optimize the yield for that specific size of deposit and optimize for the specific TVL in Fraximal. So that's basically it. Sun, do you want to speak a little bit more on the rest of the way this works?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't really have a demo for the off-chain part. That's also kind of like what the alpha of this vault is. But basically, it's like you have a bunch of different pools you can allocate to on FraxLend. You might naively think like, oh, right now Geom is the highest yielding, right? So as a depositor, maybe I should just go all into Geom. It turns out, though, that actually is not the optimal yield, right? Because all of the pools are like nonlinear, it's not trivial to actually compute what the optimal balance is. And you might have, some assets allocated to Geom, some Frax allocated to second and third, but this is like what the off-chain piece is doing, like Stephen mentioned. And I think the important thing is it's doing that like 99% of the time, but then when, shit hits the fan, like it did in the last couple of weeks with Curve, that's when there's like risk mitigation that kicks in. So it's really like, optimizing best yields under normal market conditions. And then when market conditions get crazy, it's doing some risk mitigation. That's really the value prop there. So that's Fraximal.
Nice. Thank you for that. That must have been crazy during the whole curve fiasco. Like, holy shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But we make it through, and we're here. We're here to grow. It's up only from here.
Yeah, it was like 48 hours of war room.
Yeah.
What's next for Fraximal? What else you guys thinking about doing in the future? Any roadmap?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'd love to someday get a gauge on Frax, but that's got to go through governance. So we'll continue to lobby until governance loves us. But until then, like there's also the L2s. So we see that FraxLend is on Arbitrum. We are heading towards Arbitrum at full speed and would love to create the same product on Arbitrum for FraxLend users, so they can also optimize their Frax yield. In terms of what we're building, we're also building like FraxLend adapters so we can borrow and deposit into FraxLend for some of our other strategies. Like if you guys don't know, if you want to borrow stables against Bitcoin, as an example, it's incredibly efficient to do that on FraxLend instead of like other money markets like Aave or Compound. So we want to be able to tap into that to optimize some of our yields in our vaults, like really with BTC and other potential vaults. So I think the next step for us, aside from just moving to L2s, is just integrating more of the Frax tools into the current vaults we have for more optimization.
And I'll just tease one thing we're considering, which is that if you look at every other vault on Sommelier, it's accessing multiple different protocols, right? So like our ETH vault is doing LPing on Uniswap, leverage staking on Aave, Morpho. Something we're considering with FraxLend is not only making it the best like FraxLend source of yield, but potentially the best Frax yields across, ETH, right? And so that could include things like LPing Frax, getting single-sided yield wherever that is. That's like a direction we're considering taking it.
So turn it into an index of yields rather than just a specific tool.
Very cool. Frax vault to the max. Or to the Frax, as I should say. Yeah.
Fraximal. Very, very cool. Very cool, guys. Thank you for participating and congratulations on your first place finish. And thanks for showing off the Fraximal Vault live here as well. Okay. Next up, we've got Matt from Sticker Protocol. Matt, is anyone else joining you, or are you doing it solo?
Oh, I don't know. Can we hear Matt?
Test. How's my audio?
Here.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, switching to old reliable AirPods. Solo project, so just me.
Nice.
It is mostly Solidity code, so I will do my best to make this demo as exciting as looking at Solidity can possibly be.
Let's go.
Yeah, the story of, oh, by the way, thanks for FraxMole. I have my Frax stack in there, so that's awesome to meet y'all.
Love it.
The story of stickers is maybe 4 years in the making, and stems from exactly this realization of how you transfer money on the internet is sort of burdened by the concept of money to begin with. And this is something that's been well known in the sort of Eastern sphere for a long time. And you can see that mimetic virus coming over with the, like Dave mentioned, the NPC sticker delivery, ice cream, yes, that kind of thing. And what's happening there that's really interesting is money is being transferred, but we don't see the money in the process at all. And that's actually really important for making that flow, because there's something called mental transaction costs to sending money. And so the idea being that if you've ever tried to tip someone in Bitcoin or something, like the effort required to do that, it already outweighs the 50 cents you're sending them. And that happens up to some, like even $5, $10. Like it's just untenable. And this is kind of why micropayments, and especially social micropayments, haven't really happened. And so stickers started as a Twitch, what's that called? Plugin. It was used a little bit and then sort of failed. And when I heard about staked Frax ETH, I was like, oh, there's something there. Because one thing that's interesting with stickers is we take the concept of a digital sticker, but instead of having it be infinitely reproducible, you buy a sticker pack and then send it as many times as you want. Surprise, surprise, there's digital scarcity. And so what you can do is when you mint these stickers or print them in the parlance, you imbue them with some amount of value. In this case, some fractional amount of ETH by some degree of 10. So 0.001 ETH, 0.001 ETH, so on and so forth. And now that sticker represents that amount of value. And you can send that around the social web. And when you do that, you don't see X amount of dollars moving from your account to their account. You just send a sticker, and at the end of the day, people have exchanged value. You can always burn, or in this case, I think stick is the verbiage, these stickers to get the Frax ETH out. And so the cool part of this is, of course, because it's Frax ETH, it's earning yield via staked Frax ETH. And that means that there is yield that can be flowing through the protocol. And so the goal is for this to be as governance minimized as possible. You can read about all the technicals here. We do some clever packing into the token IDs. The final goal is, of course, sticker velocity is important, people sending stickers to another. So L2 kind of thing, but you want to integrate with DeFi, so the vault and whatnot stays on mainnet. But as a demo, as a 0.1, for example, this is a single chain hyperstructure type thing. And so there's a storefront that you can mint stickers with. It does a lot of calculations and so on and so forth, and then deposits into a vault. This is a standard sort of simple reserve-based vault with an invariant. And the idea is that yield from this vault would be automatically directed to participants in the protocol, depending on what they're doing. I haven't quite figured out the right way to do that doesn't run into gamification or Sybil attacks. So if any DeFi heads have thoughts here, but what I've gone with is a DAO with retroactive funding and so on and so forth to inject some humans in there. But yeah, stickers are Solidity contracts. It uses hooks, so it calls out. So you can, as an artist, say, I want a maximum supply of stickers. I want to charge them a variable amount depending on how many they're minting at once. Obviously, artists get paid here. There's primary and secondary sales. You can use Merkle stuff to do allow lists, whatever it is you want to do. And yeah, that is that. I'm going to show you a test suite passing. This is it. This is the demo. Holy shit, that's incredible. Let's go. Amazing. Passing test suite. Wow. And that just does all the stuff you'd expect, depositing Frax, it gets yield, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that is the sticker protocol. It is just Solidity code, but of course the idea is that it's a protocol that integrates into whatever Web3 social thing is happening right now. You could react to a DM, you can react to a group chat, you can react to a post on whatever the latest Twitter clone is, and stickers will move around, and you can keep them and hold them for their beautiful intangible value and personal mementos, or you can burn them for their money. And all of that's very cool for Frax because monetary premium. And yeah, that's the stickers protocol.
Would it be possible to make like a Telegram bot or like Telegram sticker where like it's like these are the actual stickers, and then I can just like send it to a friend on Telegram?
I think so, yeah, and have that like debit and credit your account or something. I was thinking about how to integrate into obviously all the chat apps. It's yeah.
When front end, when launch?
That's a great idea. Yeah, I built this in my spare time, but I would love to build a front end, especially the artist sort of portal for this. I would love for other people to build the social apps, basically. That was what doomed the previous Web 2 iterations of this product, was when you want to have a cool sticker sending experience, you must first build a social network. And that's not really tenable. But yeah, I would love to build that dashboard and have people start printing stickers and harvesting that yield sort of Venmo style, but without the keeping it, and instead with the redistributing it.
Nice. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Matt, for sharing your stickers.
And thank you for pushing me to build it at the right time for FraxBuild. This is something I've been sitting on for a long time, and I independently asked Dave for help understanding how I would do this with Frax, and he was like, "You should do this hackathon."
This is perfect timing. The
Here we
stars
are.
aligning.
So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. It's a pretty like novel idea, like not only building this for Web3, but also kind of having the spark of inspiration after seeing like Frax take teeth, to be able to like put those pieces together and have that kind of coalesce in your mind to build this from that.
Totally. And the 2 token model was what makes it really easy from the Solidity side. Just pointing that out, the 2 token model was really useful.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Next, I would love to welcome the Revest team up to the stage for their demo. Who I know Rob from Revest is here. Rob, is anyone else? Oh, and then
Ton is he's one of our devs. He was the one who led the development of this particular project, and he's the one who'll be doing the demo.
Excellent. Thank you both for being here.
Absolute pleasure. I guess the way we should do this is I'll tell you all a little bit about the product, and then we just jump into the demo.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Yeah, so I've known Travis for a while, and he and I have just been friends for like a year or so. And so we've been working with Frax with our flagship protocol, Resonate, which is built on the engine that is Revest. And Revest is an engine that allows the creation of financial NFTs, which are just NFTs that are Web3 enabled dApps in the actual NFT, and they represent complex financial positions on chain in an easily liquid format. When we heard about this, we've had ideas that we've been kicking around for a long time involving VEFXS and VEFPIS. And we saw this thing, it was like, oh, this is really a perfect match for this tech that we've had just kind of kicking around, and the opportunity to actually, build it out, get it rolling, and then push through the necessary legwork to get it truly integrated into the Frax system. What it is it allows you to take your VEFXS positions and your VEFPIS positions And right now, where they're locked to your wallet, this system, Tom, what's the name again? Just the tokenization. What did we come up with for it?
Is it like the liquid wrapper? The liquid wrapper.
Yeah, we call it a liquid wrapper. We didn't have a super fancy name. We need a fancy name now. But it's a subset of our existing work that allows you to take those VE positions and represent them in an NFT, a lot like what the VE33 stuff does. For VFXS, because of the way it's written, it's only forward compatible, so we can't do backward compatibility. But because the Frax team is just sheer genius, VEFPIS, you can actually take your existing positions and migrate them. And you can make those positions entirely liquid. And if you want to get out of that position early, you can go to an NFT marketplace. You sell these things. Dave will know who I'm talking about when I talk about the Hourglass guys. We're working on that a little bit with them. They're cool dudes. We're actually working on a standard to just value all this stuff in general right now with a bunch of guys in NFT-Fi and DeFi, so you can actually standardize how you value asset-bearing NFTs. And yeah, this will allow you to get out of your positions early, to borrow against your positions, to do all sorts of crazy stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. That's all from me. I'll let Ton take it away, share the demo. Our next steps are just get a proposal put together, get a few changes made to allow this thing to actually work, and then it's off to the races.
Hi everyone, my name is Tan. I'm from Reverse again. So I just want to highlight this, since the VFXX and VFPIX cannot be transferable, cannot be transferred. So that's why this NFT is make the whole your positions more liquid. So this is our front end, just the local host version of everything. So we just fork the mainnet and do everything here. So here on the website, it allows you, instead of going to the Frax website, here on Resonate, you can choose to lock your FSX token for VEFXX. And here I can just do, let's say 1,000 of them and around 25 weeks. Yeah, and which is just simple like that, and you click execute. Since this is the fork net, I cannot show you guys the real NFT, but I can show you guys the example of it and the tenderly transaction. So as you can see here, this is the recent transaction of that one. So remember 1,000. So this is just the initial stuff. We take like 5.5% of the management fee into our wallet, and we transfer everything into the Frax contract right here. And this will give you an NFT back. And this is your NFT ID, which is this one. And we can actually, here I will do a simulation to show their balance of VFXX of their of your just deposit FSX. So simulation.
While I'm doing that, I'll explain what actually happened here. We spin up a counterfactual smart wallet using create2 opcode, which means that these are actually segregated funds. That's how this works, because each address that's locking these tokens is a brand new contract that's being deployed, used to lock the Frax, and then self-destructed at the end of the transaction to save on gas costs. So whenever you need it, you redeploy the contract, you say whatever you want to happen, and you pull it back. But because these are all individual wallets, it works with the existing Frax system. And Ton can actually go ahead and share the balances like this.
Yeah, so as you can see here, it's not on a good front end, but here is your VEFXX position attached to your FNFT, something like that. And this is just an example NFT that you can see. So on the front is going to show you VFXX instead, and the amount of it. And on the back, okay, let me switch to Optimism real quick. So On the back, it will show you all of the information, real-time yield that you can claim. This will have the place for you to lock more token in. It will have the place for you to extend your current locking period also. So all you can do on this FNFT. Yeah, and you can sell them and lend them. Okay, that's it for my demo.
Nice. Matt is a big
Cool.
fan.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, the interactive NFT is killer. That's awesome.
We really appreciate it. We're currently it's backed by an AWS system, but Revest v2 it's done. We just have to get it audited, and it has the entirety of the HTML, JavaScript, CSS all on chain, dynamically created on demand.
Yeah,
that's really sick.
Ton led that too. Ton's done great work.
Nice job, guys. What's so you kind of mentioned that that's in the works. What else is next for the Revest team and what you're working on?
Oh, okay. I'll reveal a little bit of alpha. We're doing a lot of work right now with Resonate, our mainline product, in real world asset stuff. There's a sector there. I mean, Frax is way ahead of us. They've already got the incredible systems that Frax V3 is based on. But for everybody else, there's still a very strong niche in there that allows for traditional financial institutions to be onboarded in the tens to hundreds of billions of dollars because of the way that treasuries work and the way that our system can work. I'm not going to give too much alpha just yet because we're not ready to full send it, but things are looking very good. And we think we've solved one of the biggest problems in the space.
Very cool. Very cool. Any questions from you, Dave, before we move on to our final demo of the day?
No, probably one of my, I mean, it's hard to say because there's so many like innovative projects here, but like what you guys are doing with the dynamic NFTs is really cool. And just like, I've talked to you guys before and it's cool to see like what you guys have like actually built during the hackathon and something that's like much needed in the Frax ecosystem as it gets like more and more popular and people want more and more optionality with what to do with their FXS, FPIS, VE, FXS, VE, FPIS. I have people hitting me up all the time like, hey, where's the best place to get yield? And like now it's like, oh, you want some optionality on your yield? You can go over to Revest.
Thanks a ton, Dave. Really appreciate it. Also, big shout out to Stephen. Always great to see you. And I know Travis is not talking, but it's good to see you too, man.
No, I'm listening in.
I was going to say the same thing, Rob. It's always good to see you.
Travis, it's good to hear your voice. I just want to also say like the beard off between Steven and Matt is real. If we had like a competition of like the best beard, it would be tough. It would be tough.
This is the first time I've seen a longer beard in one of these chats than me. I'm amazed.
Yeah, you've been out bearded.
Depends on the angle of the camera, you know?
Yeah, it's the lighting.
It's like the 2013 like Boston Red Sox like beard nation.
Right.
Yeah, 3 incredible mustaches in this chat, one of whom is not currently grown out. But
I know
that's right.
The potential's there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that thing had a life of its own.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. And of course, last but not least, I'd love to have the Zaros team come up and present their demo. I believe you guys are here, right?
Hey, yep. Hello, guys.
Hey, Pedro.
Hey, Pedro.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you very much for having us from Zaros. So I think I will start just quickly showing a little bit from our architecture and the main idea that we have of becoming the intersection between liquid staking tokens and perpetual futures markets, and how we are leveraging stake Frax not only as a collateral, but as a perpetual futures markets to the way that our system works. So I'll just share screen very quickly. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So, okay, this is a bit big. It's not everything that we've implemented for this hackathon, but We have here some ideas that we want to implement for the next releases and continue building now that we have this initial demo to present to you. So we have two players mainly in our system. So we have the liquidity provider, where they can create an account. They mint an account if it's their first interaction with the system, which is also an NFT. So really cool to see the work from the previous project. We are also using an NFT to represent our positions on Zaros. It's not being fully generated yet in this version, but we do plan to improve it. So users could mint their accounts. By using their NFT account, they can deposit different types of LST collaterals and USDC. Why do we need to use USDC? So the idea here is, in order to be able to fully onboard LST's liquidity to back the underlying derivatives markets that operate on top of Zaros, we need to have some sort of USD pegged liquidity, and we chose to start with USDC for now, which we use in a very similar system of how the Frax stablecoin AMO works. We pair USDC with Zaros USD. This is working right now. We are deploying this liquidity into a balancer composable stable pool. All of your USDC liquidity goes there, so traders can go and buy Zaros USD with enough depth of liquidity. Then the staked Frax ETH collateral is used to represent the credit that is made available to derivatives markets, and all of this is managed by our Vault smart contract. And this Vault smart contract pretty much tells through the markets registry smart contracts how much each perpetual futures market has in credits, and by doing the proper risk analysis, we are able to determine how much of open interest we can allow in different supported markets. And we can pretty much allow traders to trade on top of any purpose market that has a price feed on chain. So we are using Chainlink on-chain price feeds for that right now, and we do have plans to support a low latency Oracle in the future, so we can have a better settlement price. So now I'll quickly show our demo and how it's working right now. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, working all good, guys? Yep. All right.
All good.
So, yep. This is the dApp we built during the hackathon. So we have the earn page here where users can either LP by using USDC or staked Frax Ether. So users LPing with staked Frax ETH, they're already earning, of course, staking rewards. So they're not, by not being positioned in a liquidity pool like in an AMM where they would suffer permanent loss, they're fully positioned to not only the ETH price, but also to ETH staking rewards. And on top of that, of course, with the additional risks of the credit volatility, the debt volatility that happens in the perps markets, they're earning the trading fees from traders. So you're earning pretty much staking rewards and boosted rewards from trading markets. So here I have staked 5 staked Frax ETH. It's working on testnet. I can withdraw, for example, some staked Frax ETH. Our front-end devs have built some really cool animations. So yeah, this is a withdrawal transaction, and once that gets mined, it will update my staked Frax ETH balance. I could also LP USDC if I'm more into stablecoin LP. So all trading activity pays fees to liquidity providers. Right now I have 0 accumulated fees, but as traders open positions and pay fees to their positions, I'll be accumulating Zaros USD fees. I can go to so here, let me just take this Zoom thing out. Yeah. So here's my account that is represented by an NFT, my connected wallet. I can go to the trade page. It's not fully 100% working perfectly, but I think enough for the demo right now. I can open a position. We always use Zaros USD for now, but we also have in our roadmap plans to implement FraxETH and other LSTs as collateral for the perps markets. So I can create a position, for example, with oops. Sorry, here. With, for example, 1,000 Zaros USD, I'll leverage around 8x and confirm my long order. For now, we are settling fully on chain. That's not the ideal trading flow, but once we progress in our roadmap and we go live, we will be doing an asynchronous flow where users first create their order, which will be then settled by our off-chain keepers using the latest low latency price coming from our off-chain partner. So here I'm trading the leveraged long position on stake FraxETH. We're using a Chainlink price feed. I mean, since Chainlink doesn't support stake FraxETH right now, we are mocking the functionality a little bit. So we're using ETH and simulating stake FraxETH. So we have created the position. I can go and quickly close the position by submitting another order. Yeah, success. I think that's pretty much it for this demo. Hope I've been clear enough. And yeah, thank you very much, DoraHacks, Frax, Dave.
Yeah.
The hackathon has been amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Pedro. Me and Pedro have known each other for a while. I first met Pedro like through friends in Brazil, not even off some crypto stuff. And I've seen his journey over the years. It's been great to see his evolution. And yeah, I have to agree with Matt. And I even said to you this before when I saw your demo. I think probably like one of the best UIs in all of DeFi, something that's very underrated in the community, something that's in a very technically focused community. Sometimes the UI is overlooked, but it's a little bit hypnotizing seeing like the liquidity go up. I think it goes like, anything like liquidity water-wise goes very well mimetically, especially in perpetual markets. So good job there. And also like with everybody like hunting for like, how can we get the most out of our LSTs and out of our yield? You see rehypothecation with Eigenlayer, you see looping on like Aave and Fraxland. This is just another unique option is perpetual markets. And, you've seen GMX get up to, 20, 25, 30% APR. Like, imagine if you can get like that much boosted yield on your LST on top of the native yield you're getting. So I think it's, so you're cooking up something really cool there.
I imagine the opportunities for Zaros increase a lot as well. Like after like the planned Frax chain launches too, it seems to me that platform is kind of will enable a lot faster development of Zaros too, potentially.
Yeah, definitely. And we have plans to use CCIP at some point, not in our first public version, but at some point. So we can pretty much have our floor liquidity concentrated on L1. We are using Balancer, as I showed for our AMOs. And then by using CCIP, any L2 that makes sense, we can deploy a perpetual futures market. So yeah, it will be really good to build on Frax chain.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pedro. That was really cool. So many awesome entries. I can't repeat that over and over again. Like very creative, very innovative, forward thinking. And it's really cool to see how much, from like my bird's eye view of the evolution of Frax to now seeing people build, not just build on Frax, it's like one thing to like build and half-ass something, but build actually useful, forward-thinking, innovative products, utilizing the Frax ecosystem and sharing, that the Frax system ethos of like, hey, it's positive sum, let's all build together, let's all grow together. And these products really grow the Frax ecosystem together. So I just want to give a huge shout out to all our winners and everybody who's participated in the hackathon.
Yeah, I'd like to echo what Dave said. Absolutely. Like I'm blown away by the quality of developers we got for this hackathon. seems to me that the Frax ecosystem is very fortunate and growing very quickly. I think it's super cool that there's actually a developer community coalescing around what started as just a stablecoin protocol, right? Like, and just seeing the growth, like the product expansion of Frax, seeing it even integrated into things as simple as a new front end to product expansion that things like Revest and Zaros are working on, and then of course Fraximal as well. Like, just seeing the proliferation of this asset being used across different ecosystems on different chains for different purposes is really awesome for me as someone who just loves DeFi in general to see happen. So yeah, congratulations to everyone who participated. It's been a pleasure being a part of it. And thank you all for joining the closing ceremony today as well to demo your projects live, which I know can always be daunting, but everyone did it very smoothly. So good job, everyone. And that's basically it for me. That's the end of the closing ceremony. So unless Dave, if you have the final word, I think we can wrap up.
Again, thank you to all our participants, all our winners. Huge shout out to DoraHacks for helping us every step of the way. If you're a project and you're thinking about having a hackathon, big or small, definitely go with DoraHacks. Brian's been incredibly helpful, and his whole team. Claire, everyone, thank you again. Thank you again to all our judges. Thank you again to the Frax community. Really exciting stuff and exciting what we can build in the future.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, everyone. And that's it. Go forth through your day, and thank you for joining the closing ceremony.
Thanks, everyone.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Ciao.